Hi, Business Boosters. This is Deborah Baska, and I am really excited to talk with you this week about belief, because I truly believe that the message that I have to share with you about belief is the difference maker. It's the key, it's the foundation to whether or not you're having success in your business or not. So first off, I want to say to all of you who are watching this, congratulations, because out of 150 people that started this Business Boosters Academy, there's a less than 20% of you that are still participating. Less than 20%. And when you think about what Gary Vaynerchuk said at Summit about, I think he said more than 70% of the people that were there at Summit would not be successful in this business. And it's solely because of belief and action. It's not because the business doesn't work. It's because of belief and action. And so that's what we're going to talk about this week and tonight. And I want to make sure I watch the time. So first off, I wanted to give you a little background on myself and what belief has meant to my life. Because I can tell you 5 years ago, when I was in corporate America, I did not have belief in myself. I had been at my job for almost 20 years, same company, worked my way up the ladder, and I was a vice president. I was senior leadership team. I did not have belief in myself. I definitely did not have belief that I could do anything different. I barely believed that I even should have been doing what I was doing. I just did not have belief in myself. And I didn't have a vision for my future. And certainly when this business came to my attention, I did not have a belief that I could be successful doing this. I did not come into this business thinking, oh, I'm going to be wildly successful, beyond my dreams, and become a full-time Beachbody coach and never have to work in corporate America again. That's not how I came in. I came in with all the doubts and all the lack of belief and the low self-confidence that I had accumulated not only from 20 years in corporate America, but also just from baggage from my childhood and, all that stuff. But, I came into this, I'm an introvert. I'm not really very outgoing by nature. I'm not so much of a people person. I certainly didn't have a large social circle. So why would I be successful at a business like this? I really just came into it because I was passionate. I was passionate about the products. I had seen them work in my life and in my husband's life. They had changed our bodies. They had changed our health and gave us back our youth, if you will. I mean, I'm 48, my husband's 57, and I truly believe we are incredibly youthful. And I owe that, I think, to being physically fit and having the right mindset and just trying to lead this healthy lifestyle. But that all started with the product. So I came into this with a belief, not so much about the business, not even so much about myself, but a belief in the products. So that's really, going all the way back to what is belief for you. That'll be some of the things that I'll be asking you to consider, as what are your beliefs about this business, not only about yourself, but about the business, the company, and the products. I wanted to say too that, the true different, for those of you, okay, I want to give a reminder real quick that for our diamond pot, you have till the week ending October 5th. Let me double check. Yes, the week ending October 5th. So when you wake up on October 6th, you should be diamond. And that goes to all of you or any of you that have hit diamond thus far. You need to wake up on October 6th and be diamond still or again, okay? So that's your deadline for the pot. So there's still a good solid 2.5 weeks to do that. The only reason that you are not diamond yet, and I'm talking to those of you that are in this group, that have been with us for, this is week 7, so you've been with us for 6 solid weeks now. The only reason you're not diamond yet is because you don't have the belief that you can be. Let me say that again. The reason you are not diamond yet is because you do not believe that you can be. And you know how I know that? Just by what I said. Less than 20% of you are still participating and engaging and checking in and doing the activities that we asked you to do. If you believed that doing what we asked you to do would get you to diamond by the end of this 8-week session, if you believed that, then you wouldn't be unengaged. You would be doing those things, and you would be doing them every day. If you believe that, let me put it this way. If we said, if you do all these things for 8 weeks, and on October 6th, when you wake up, you will have $1 million. Would you do all those things? If you believed without 100%, when you wake up on October 6th, if I do all this stuff, I will have $1 million. Would you do it? Yeah, you would. If you believed, if you really believed that you would get $1 million. So I say the only reason that you are, the only reason you're not diamond yet, the only reason you won't hit diamond, and for those of you that won't, and I don't mean to be negative, I'm just being honest. On October 6th, the only reason any of you will not be diamond is because you did not believe coming into this that you could be. All right, so that's kind of the big picture. Now I want to dive into a little bit more specific. I'm going to open up the PowerPoint presentation. We're going to talk about mental mindset mojo. I'm going to do a little bit of reviewing of some things. Some of this I actually go over with some of my new coaches, but I think it's good to review. So first off, we're going to talk about improving your posture. And notice when I said that, I sit up straighter. Posture. We're going to improve our posture. Okay, so what does that mean? Am I asking you to put a book on your head and walk around and be tall? What I am talking about is another definition of the word posture. In Webster, an alternative definition of posture, other than standing up straight, is a mental or spiritual attitude. And I think that perfectly goes with what we are talking about as far as belief. And remember, you project what you think and believe. So, what's your posture? What is your mental attitude about this business, about yourself, about our products? What is it? Because whatever it is in your head, that's what you're putting out there. So, let's give an example. If you think Shakeology is too expensive, if you secretly think it's too expensive, and you're just really using it because you like it, but you have to use it, that's what you're putting out there. And you may be wondering why you have a hard time convincing, we're going to talk about that word, convincing people that Shakeology is worth it. What you think, you become. What you feel, you attract. And what you imagine, you create. So let's reverse engineer that. What do you want to create for your life? What do you want to create? I know we've asked all of you to create your vision, your ideal life. What do you want to create? Can you imagine that? What do you want to attract? We want to attract like-minded people. We want to attract people that want to build this business with us. We want to attract people that really are ready to make a change in their life. We want to attract more positivity. Is that how you feel? You cannot attract something that you do not feel. It's like a magnet. Think about magnets. Like attracts like, right? Opposites repel each other, right? When you're talking about magnets. If you don't feel positive, and if you don't feel confident and you don't feel sure and convicted, another word we're going to talk about, if you don't feel convicted about what you're doing, then you're going to attract people who don't either. What do you want to become? What do you want to become in this business? What do you want to become in this life? Well, whatever you're thinking about, that's what you will become. And this, I Googled The Attractor Factor, which is a book that I read. It's on my top 5 must-reads for new coaches, and it's what I truly credit, The Attractor Factor by Joe Vitale. I truly credit that. Here's my little dog right here. Oh, say hi. I truly credit that book and that message to getting me my first year as a coach. First year. 2-star diamond elite. 2-star diamond elite. Because of this. Because this is what I believed from reading this book. Well, what if what we think about is what we become, and what we feel is what we attract, and what we imagine is what we create? What if let's just suppose that's all true. Well, then I don't dare risk thinking the negative things. I don't dare risk thinking badly of myself. I don't dare risk the what ifs and the what if I fail and the what. I don't dare risk those thoughts, because if by chance this is really true, that's bad, right? That will not work. So that changed my belief system, and it changed my thought system. So let's just right there, posture. That you've got to know what your posture is, and you have to work on strengthening your posture. I want to quickly review the 5 difference makers, and I share this with new coaches, but I'm sharing it with you too, because I am seeing this manifest itself in our group right now. 5 difference makers. I call this the things that separate those who do from those who don't. Success from not success. And this is in my experience. When I was a new coach, what did I do my first 6 months that made a difference, that made me be a player in this business versus all the other coaches, even coaches that I was in push groups with and on training calls, that didn't succeed, that dropped out, that quit? What's the difference makers? The top one on my list is Mental Mindset Mojo. And that's really what this whole entire call is about. That's what this whole week is about. But Mental Mindset Mojo, doing your personal development. I mean, I'm pretty darn sure that a lot of you have not yet finished the 10X rule. Pretty sure. Mental Mindset Mojo. Belief, what you think about is what comes about. So how do you change your thoughts? By putting different things in there to think about. Because I know before I got involved with Beachbody, my thoughts about myself, my beliefs about myself were so vastly different than what they are today. And I directly owe that to the personal development that Beachbody made me do. They made me do it. They said, if you want to be successful, you got to do it. And I wanted to be successful, so I did it. Staying engaged is my number 2 difference maker. Less than 20% are engaged in this group. Less than 20%. How many groups have you joined? How many training, how many push groups have you joined over the tenure of your career as a coach? Accountability groups, and you've petered out. You haven't finished. You haven't gone the distance. You haven't crossed the finish line. It makes a difference. It makes a difference. Being accountable and tracking what you do. Well, maybe one of the reasons you're not engaged with the group is because you aren't tracking and you don't want to be accountable. It's too hard. It's inconvenient. Well, I didn't really do my stuff, so I don't want to post in the group that I didn't do it. That's a difference maker. When I first became a coach, I was on these accountability calls, and all we did was say what we had done in the past week. I did this many invites, this many shares, this many that's, and here's the personal development I read, and what did I get out of it? That's all. And out of all the people that were on those accountability calls with me, only 2 are still coaches, and we're both elite coaches. That is not a coincidence, my friends. Be accountable and track what you do. We have asked you, we've given you this form of accountability. And really we wanted, that's why we did it this way, because we know accountability is the thing that most people, most coaches have the biggest trouble with. Getting in that daily power hour. That's why we have challenge groups, right? Because we want to help our customers be accountable to their fitness. That's what we offer as coaches. That's our difference maker to all the other exercise products on the market, is we provide accountability and we help our customers track. Well, that's what we do in our training groups. That makes a difference. Those that are accountable and track will be more successful than those that don't. You got to own it, number one. Number 4, you got to own it, right? You set yourself goals and you own getting there. When we're done with this group, for those of you that are being accountable and tracking, will you continue doing these things? Will you own it? Will you be accountable to yourself? Will you keep the promises that you made to yourself? Will you hold yourself to those no matter what goals, like making Success Club, like adding 2 new coaches every month, like helping your coaches rank advanced? Will you own doing those things? Will you do the things that you need to do? That's a difference maker. No excuses. Absolutely no excuses. And you know what? You're busy. I don't want to hear about how busy you are. And your sponsor coach doesn't either. They don't want to hear about on a personal level, we care about that stuff. And we can talk about that in a personal setting. But when it comes to business, when we're an accountability group and we're talking about goals, and if you're not owning the fact that you just didn't do X, you just didn't do what it took. I'm telling you, as far as goals, I've been Success Club 10 for 58 months. I've had Success Club every month as a coach. And it's only because I owned it. It's only because I was accountable and I made that be a no matter what. And I had the mindset that it was important, that it mattered, and that I could do it and I would do it. And that I must do it. And finally, you have to be hungry and you have to be fierce. And I'm going to talk about that at the end, but that kind of goes back to what I said at the beginning. If you're not diamond by the end of this group, it's truly because you didn't believe you could be, and you just weren't hungry enough to do it. And some of you, that's going to strike you the wrong way, I know. But I believe that the reason that I'm where I'm at with this business, and Lindsay's where she's at, and Jen talked last week about what she does with her business on top of her full-time job and her kids and her husband. And she's the busiest woman I know, the busiest. I mean, I've spent a week with her. I've seen what she does. It's crazy, but she's hungry and she's fierce to make this a priority in her life, and she does. For me, I was one of the lucky ones. I lost my job, so I had to get fierce. That turned my fierce factor up 100, 200, 300 fold. You guys hopefully won't have to be that lucky, because that's also very traumatic. It's very traumatic. But I really believe that if you worked your business like that, that your job, you knew my job is I'm losing my job. I've got to make this work. I think you would approach it in a different manner. Just like if you knew at the end of these 8 weeks you'd have $1 million, you would have approached these 8 weeks very, very differently. What you think about, what you believe, what you imagine, that's what happens in your life. Okay, so I wanted to give you just a little bit more background on belief. So a couple of years ago, I did a Coach Basics survey. So I did this with the people, the coaches that were in my Coach Basics. These are new coaches, new or even coaches that kind of needed a restart. And I asked them, what is your weak link when it comes to building your business? Like, what is your struggle? And here is what they said. They said, I get discouraged by the lack of response. I'm afraid to be too pushy. I don't know how to talk about the business opportunity. I'm worried what people will think about me. I'm afraid to open up and be too vulnerable. I'm listening to others tell me what won't work and that it's silly. I'm afraid of rejection. I'm afraid I won't know how to handle the objections. I'm afraid to put myself out there. So what did you hear? What are the common words? Just think about it for a minute or less than a minute. You probably don't even have to think about it. What are the common words that showed up in this survey? I want you to look at these words and I want you to think about what role they play in your life and in your business. How much fear do you have? Fear about what people will think of you. Fear of rejection. Worry that you're posting too much. Worry that you're going to annoy your friends. Worry that everyone's going to think all you do is work out. Worry that people are going to think all you want is to sell something. Discouraged because people aren't responding. Discouraged because everybody has an excuse. Discouraged because people say yes and then you never hear from them again. Discouraged because people say yes and then they keep putting it off. Disappointment that person you were talking to decided to do something else. Disappointment that person that you were sure was going to be your coach that was going to sign on with you decided to wait. They want your success club for that month because that was going to be it. You have to just say no. You got to say no to words like that. It doesn't matter what anyone thinks about you. It doesn't matter what people say to you, because remember, whatever people think about or say, that's on them. It's not on you. If someone doesn't believe in what you're doing, that's on them, not on you. If someone doesn't believe that what you have to offer them is valuable, if someone believes that Shakeology is too expensive, even though you have presented to them what an amazing product it is and what amazing ingredients it has, and that's on them, not on you. You have to say no to dream stealers, because dream stealers are also belief stealers. They are your future success stealers. So and most of all those things, the fear, the worry, the disappointment, that's all has to do with other people. It all has to do with other people, what they're going to say to you, what they don't say to you, what they do, what they don't do, how they feel about you, how they don't feel about you. Who cares? It doesn't matter. Because there's plenty of people out there that do, that need what you have, that want what you have, that believe in what you have. And that's the belief that you have to have. You've got to focus on the people out there that need you, not on the dream stealers. So put this on your screensaver if you must. Just say no to dream stealers. So here's another question for you. We're talking about belief. So all those things that people are worried about and afraid of, let's talk about your own belief. Do you believe in what you're doing? Just write this down, yes or no. Just write down yes or no. Do you believe in what you're doing? That this is important, that helping people with their health, that helping people get into healthy lifestyle habits, do you believe in that? Do you believe in what you're doing? Do you believe in our products? Do you believe they work? Do you believe they have value? Do you believe that Shakeology is worth every penny? Do you believe that, well, yeah, it would be awesome if it cost 50 cents a serving, but I actually wouldn't want to eat it or drink it if it did, because then those products would not be the high quality products that we offer? Do you believe that we source our Shakeology ingredients out to indigenous countries And they are truly made from the best things that are out there. No chemicals, no pesticides. Do you believe in that value? Do you believe in the integrity of the company? That the company has a mission that they believe in, that they'll do what they say they'll do, that they are committed to giving us the best value and the best quality for the money? Do you believe in our company? Do you believe that this business model works? I posted this on my wall recently. I said, how do you know something is not impossible? And that's a double negative, I know. But how do you know something is not impossible? Because if somebody else is doing it, then you know it's possible. So when you think about the business model, do you see other people being successful at this? Well, then it works. You have to tell yourself that. I know it's possible because I see other people doing it. Has Beachbody changed your life? This is really, really important. And we're going to do an exercise later in the week on this particular belief. Has Beachbody changed your life? I know it's changed my life in a million ways. I mean, it's given me a whole new lease on life. I truly believe it saved my life. I believe that my husband's health is completely changed, 360. No more diabetes, no more high cholesterol. I truly believe that the youthfulness that my husband and I both have is due to being introduced to Beachbody and being a part of this community and the lifestyle and using these products for over 7 years. Beachbody has changed our life. Do you believe that it has changed yours? And do you believe this will work for you? And that again goes back to my very opening statement about the only reason that you're not, or that you would not be 8 weeks, diamond on October 6th, is because you don't believe. Do you believe this will work for you? You see it work for other people. Do you believe it will work for you? So let's talk a little bit about your posture. We have a couple more minutes. Here's what you need to adopt. You need to adopt more of a take it or leave it mentality. And this sounds maybe a little cold, but I don't mean it that way. But when you're talking to somebody about the products and inviting them to be in a challenge group, you need to be inside okay, whether they take it or they leave it. You've got to get your emotions out of it. Your posture has to be, I'm okay, whether they take it or they leave it. And they have to hear from you that I'm going to be your friend. It's okay. I have something that I think would be great for you, but if you're not ready for it, then okay, maybe we'll try again another time. Oh, you want to do something different? Well, I'll be your biggest cheerleader. Keep in touch with me. I want to follow your progress, and I wish you good luck. I will say that. I will say, I wish you good luck. Keep me posted. That's me leaving it. It's me leaving it graciously. It's me leaving the door open. You've got to take the emotion out of it. Take it or leave it. I don't need you. And I stole this from Christine Dwyer. She did a call. It was called I Don't Need You. And I will post that call in our group. But that's the posture you have to take. You're going to be okay. If they tell you no, if they tell you, I don't believe in what you're doing, okay. I don't need you to validate me. I don't need you to believe in this business for me to believe in it. I don't need you to agree with what I'm doing. Remember, all those fear words, all those negative words I said, they have to do with what other people are thinking and feeling. You don't need those people to think and feel the same way you do. It doesn't matter because there's plenty of people that do. And you may not have found all of them yet, but they are out there. Just look at all of us. There's 150 of us in this group right now that believe that Beachbody's awesome, that the products work, right? That being a part of this community is amazing. No one can take away your belief. You have to keep telling yourself that. No one can take away my belief. And that's why it's important to know how Beachbody's changed your life. And that's important for you to know what your beliefs are. And you have to be honest with yourself. If you really, really do think Shakeology is too expensive, you have to be honest with yourself. You really do. You don't have to tell me the answer to the question, but you need to be honest with yourself. And then you need to perhaps, maybe you make it one of your action items to strengthen your posture is to go and research more about Shakeology. Look at our Shakeology blog. Tune in to Darren O'Lean's Facebook pages and podcasts and learn more about how amazing it is. And again, I'll say that what other people believe is on them. It's not on you. You can't control other people. You have to be disengaged with their outcome or their reaction. As long as you believe that what you're doing comes from a place of good, and it does, because just because you stand to earn some income from helping somebody get fit, lose weight, live a happier life, does not take away the value of helping that person lose weight, live a happier life, and being healthier. It does not take away the value of that. Real quick, and I'll share this PowerPoint so you can have these. Here's some do's and don'ts of your conversations. When you're talking and when you're thinking, and these are going to be your mantras, and this is my favorite one, don't convince. So I will have coaches say to me, oh, I can't, I'm trying to convince her to sign up as a coach. I'm trying to convince her to get a challenge pack. And I always just cringe, because you are not here to convince anyone to do anything. Because when you convince, you're trying to get them to change their belief, which means that you're trying, to be right. And now you're emotionally invested in the outcome, right? Instead of trying to convince, I want you to share. If you properly share the information, then whether or not they decide that what you've shared is valuable, that they believe in that's really on them. Share information. And I will even tell people this when maybe we're going back and forth. I'll say, I am not here to convince you, to change anything or to try something different. I'm just here to share what I know and what I believe. I want to make sure you have the right information. Don't be defensive. Do seek to understand. So if people, one of my favorite expressions is, what do you mean by that? So again, the most obvious one would be if somebody says, is this one of those pyramid schemes? Well, first thing would be to be defensive. Your first response needs to be, what do you mean by that? Seek to understand where they're coming from, because you could be answering, you could start defending network marketing and defending Beachbody, and that's not even where their head's at. So don't be defensive. If you find yourself getting like your adrenaline rushing and your body getting hot when you're having conversations, step back. I'm not here to convince, I'm here to share. I'm just seeking to understand. Take a deep breath. Don't argue. Educate. Step back. How can I educate them? Okay, can I send you the ingredients list of Shakeology so that you can compare it to what you're currently using? Don't be afraid to be pushy. Instead, keep your word. And you keep your word by asking, will you be ordering that tonight? Okay, great. I'll follow up with you in the morning. Okay? Okay. Will you be able to watch that video tonight? Oh, not until this weekend? Okay, well, how about I follow up with you on Saturday? You keep your word, right? You're not being pushy when you follow up if you've asked for that agreement. And you're not being pushy when you follow up when people have told you they want more information and you give it to them and they haven't responded. It's not pushy to then follow up in a day or two and say, did you get a chance to look at that information? I know you were really excited about getting started losing that 50 pounds. Keep your word. Don't do this alone. Support yourself with your team and your daily personal development. And that goes back to your mental mindset mojo. I truly believe that When I see a coach become disengaged and they stop interacting with groups and they stop interacting in the team page, that's a coach, I believe, that's in crisis, most usually. And it's the same thing with a challenger. If you have a challenger that's never engaging in your groups, that's, isn't responding to your messages, to me, that's a sign that a challenger is in crisis, that they've fallen off their program, that they, have given up on their dreams or their goals. And that's the time when they actually need to be surrounding themselves with their support system, right? So don't try to do this alone. I just can't stress that enough. Be engaged, support yourself with the team, the community. That's one of the most valuable things that we have as Beachbody coaches is our community, not only for our business, but for our health and fitness, because I know a lot of coaches still struggle with that, right? I believe my own accountability to my healthy lifestyle is very much directly related to being involved in this community. I can't let myself just go, slide like I have in the past for weeks and months or even 10 years, because I have this community of people that I'm accountable to. Don't be wishy-washy, do be convicted. So that's the thing, if you're convicted about what you're doing, then you're not stumbling around about what you're saying, you're not trying to convince, you're not arguing, you're not being defensive, you're not being pushy, you're convicted. This is what I believe. And that you can even say that. I'm not, this is what I believe. I don't know about that. All I know is this. I don't know about that. All I know is since my husband has been drinking Shakeology and working out and living this healthy lifestyle, that his high cholesterol is now normal, his diabetes is gone, and he's no longer on medication. Somebody can't argue with your conviction. So I'm going to leave the rest of this to share with you later in the week because I want to give you some things to think about. Again, I hope that I've given you something to think about as far as your own belief about yourself and the business. I hope I did not make anybody upset, but if I did, I just think that, sometimes we need to have some truth spoken to us, and that's what I hope to do. I truly believe in this business, and I believe in all of you. I mean, you joined this community, you joined this Business Boosters because you have a vision for your life. And as Grant Cardone says, don't ever downsize your dreams. Don't downsize your goals. And now we have 2.5 weeks left on this group. Don't downsize your goal of Diamond and being a part of that pot. I truly, truly believe that you can do it. There is plenty of time. 10x your power invites. We're going to do some power inviting later this week. 10x what you're doing. 10x your beliefs. Bolster yourself with daily affirmations. Stay connected with your group right here. We are your support. We're your mojo. And I know you can do it. Thank you, and I'll talk to you guys later this week.